Whether you dream of being a flower farmer or you just want to grow flowers for your kitchen table, I'm Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I grew cut flowers commercially for nearly 25 years. Now, as an author and online course instructor, I hope to inspire the next generation of growers. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump in. So, we're here in my cool flower garden. It's 2025. And y'all, this is the worst cool flower garden that I have ever grown in my career of flower farming. And it took me a little bit to figure it out. And I just want to really highlight to people that sometimes not doing a soil test will really come back to bite you. So let me just tell you the story of this garden here. So this garden has had beds made, and the pathways for the last 2 years, not this year, but the previous 2 seasons, we used bark in the pathways because we had a tree taken down here on the farm and we had this huge pile, right? So we mulched our pathways in place of using leaves, which we have done for 2 decades, using leaves. So we did that 1 year. And then, of course, this is my garden that we call the conventional garden. I use a tractor. We everything gets tilled under, and then we rebuild beds for the next planting or the next season. And so last year, we also mulched our pathways in that big bark. And you would think, you might be surprised, but sometimes when you're looking at the forest, you just don't see the trees. So we broke this garden down last summer, tilled in all those wood chips again, and I did not soil test last fall. So we planted and then we built this garden to make a place for cool flowers, and we planted. Well, my first sign was I had pretty puny germination in our direct seeded stuff. Not horrible, but not as strong as usual. And then we planted our transplants into the beds, and they just didn't hit the ground running like they normally do. So they went into winter. Not everybody came through winter. They were just puny. I mean, I am like really living out what I hear from so many people. When you've got a glitch somewhere in your process, it affects things that you automatically blame it on. The winter killed it. The winter didn't kill them. It's the conditions that they're living in. So when we came out of winter this year, I did a soil test, I think it was early March, which is an unusual time to do it. And lo and behold, there's basically no nitrogen available in this garden. Those wood chips, which are large chunks, think about getting a tough piece of meat, how you chew it and 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 you barely get it down. That's what wood chips are like for soil. They have to work so hard to digest those big old chunks. It sucks the life out of the rest of your soil, for lack of a better way. So we did a soil test. I got the results, made perfectly good sense, and I'll tell you what actually led me to suspect a nutrient issue was because the only plant that was thriving in this garden back at that time were the sweet peas. And sweet peas are legumes. They take nitrogen from the air, right? They were green and growing like weeds, and I'm thinking, what is wrong with this picture, right? So we got the soil test. I got the appropriate fertilizer that just had nitrogen in it, an organic choice, and I fertilized this garden. And now that we've had several rains, it is beginning to finally come to life. And so what we're doing to really help this soil this season and next year is, as cool flowers are blooming and ending, we are actually planting another legume, which is high nitrogen, and we're planting it as a cover crop with the side benefit. We're planting bush string beans, and they are one of our favorites. We freeze, everybody eats them. So as crops end, we're actually plugging in string beans, which, by the way, just like the sweet peas, they popped immediately and they look beautiful even in spite of the soil issues. And so this is just a reminder that if you don't soil test, you are literally gardening or farming with the blindfold on. And even if you've done it every year, with all the mess that those of us that are organic folks that are always adding stuff, organic matter to our garden, you just don't know what the result may be. And while I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wood chips in a permanent bed or a permanent pathway are just fine. It's incorporating any unprocessed product. That's just like putting unfinished compost in your garden. It has to finish, and the soil helps it do that instead of the soil taking care of your plant. Does that help you to figure that out? We don't ever want to incorporate any unfinished product into our soil. The leaves that we've added all these years, by the time we turn them in, they're first off like thin paper compared to a chunk of wood, right? But we've been walking on them all season, pulverizing them, and they quickly get digested, not like those slow, tough pieces of meat, wood chips. So there you go. Lesson learned even 30 years in, y'all.